Well, hi there folks, it's Matt Hayson here with this week's Market Pulse, where we're continuing to see a pretty good surge forward in new listings coming onto the market. Now, as we reported last week, it's a little unusual to see that happening in August. And interestingly, if you're bringing home onto the market this week for the first open home, the auction's likely to be on Saturday, September 5, which is the first weekend in spring. So this year is certainly rapidly moving by. Now, last week in Sydney, there were 700 properties due to go under the hammer. The overall clearance rate sitting at 48%. Now, while the auction clearance rate isn't particularly strong, it certainly is consistent. As you look at this graph here, you can see over the last 9 consecutive Saturdays, that auction clearance rate has hovered just around that sub 50% bracket. Now, also during the week, CBA have come out and they're recalibrating their view on the housing forecast. But I want to take you back to this headline on the 13th of May 2020, where CBA had come out and suggested we could be in for a 32% housing crash if we did go into a prolonged downturn. But fast forward now, looking at this CoreLogic data, national housing values are only down by 1.6% and 2.1% here in Sydney at the end of July. Even CBA have conceded that housing market has been far more resilient than they anticipated, and they're now only expecting a housing downturn of around 10%. But as we know, in 2020, anything is possible, so they may very well recalibrate that in the next month again. In some better news for the housing market, ABS data has been released showing a slight improvement in housing commitments. Owner-occupier commitments were up 5.5% for the month of June. Investors up 8.1% and first home buyers are up 3.3%. So we'll likely start to see maybe an increase in the number of buyers into the market as we enter that final spring quarter. So folks, that's all we've got time for this week. Thanks very much for watching and look forward to seeing you out and about this weekend.